glad James is back because I want to ask the question to both of you before we get to our picks and before we get to the season finale of the hot take section of our programming here. So obviously this week the Big Ten signed their big, massive billion-dollar deal with Fox, CBS, and the greatest network of all, NBC, to air games starting the 2023 season. The Big Ten also indicated that they were going to find additional programs. Florida State's president, Richard McCullough, said, we're looking, we're expanding. And along those lines, Mike Alford made a comment this week that drew the ire of some, saying that he was rooting for Miami against Texas A&M, and that he wanted to see ACC teams do their best against competition. I may have written a column on Monday that Miami fans could not believe, in which I said Miami fans and Florida State fans should root for each other's team because the better these teams are, the sexier they look to get the hell out of the ACC. So my comment to both of you, to James and to Logan, first of all, we've talked about it all off season. Do you see Florida State being in the ACC by the 2024 season? Number one. And number two, if it meant leaving the ACC, if it meant we get away from a conference that has shown that it does not care about football at this point, would you root for the Miami Hurricanes this season?
Is this about Alford's comments?
Yes, Mike Alford's comments that said he would root for Miami against Texas A&M. I get where he's coming from. I wrote it that I think both fan bases should want each other to do their best as possible, because James made a good comment a couple weeks ago where he talked about, and it's been said, both of them have a sexy resume. Both of them do, but you have to play for the future. So I think they both need successful seasons this year to show that the future is bright.
Oh, I know I will not be pulling for Miami, nor will I be pulling for Texas A&M. I can give a flying double capital FU and then spell the rest of that there. I couldn't care less about what they do. I hope that game is rained out for 4 hours delay. I hope that they have it just turns into a complete crapshoot. And and I'm not cussing on the show because the views are great tonight, so we got to get the monetization going. But no, and if Florida State, I don't understand why FSU fans would care too much about pulling for the ACC, like Alfred said, since I thought all the FSU fans are tired of the ACC. So that's my take on it.
I think it was more of a Miami comment was where he was going with, because he singled
out. That was risky. That was one thing that we got to bring Alfred on the show and talk about that one. That one was.
I tell you, Jason, you brought this up 2 or 3 straight weeks, and I got to say, I don't think it matters.
I don't care about Miami. I don't care what and let's be honest. The rivalry means more to
James. Whatever you do to fix that, just keep doing it.
Right now, I'm not even on Bluetooth, so you're probably going to hear an echo.
No, it's not an echo. It's like just static.
Guys, if you contribute to Micanopy 1851,
exactly,
you buy a decent equipment. He'll buy the kind of Logan equipment he's got there. So contribute to Micanopy 1851.
You would think I have those. It's at my cigar lounge. I just don't carry it with me. But we're not by 2023. We're going to finish the 2026 the new structure that they have in the ACC. I believe we'll honor that. It benefits us. There's good games on there. We can show what we're doing. I think the Big Ten is looking for brands that will help the TV deal. If anything, they went westward. They have the East Coast. The natural expansion is going down. So you'll get you'll get somebody from Florida. You may want to get 2 teams. You may get Miami. I really don't think our win and loss record as much as the fact that of the 10 teams remaining that are independent, I think we're the number 3 biggest reach when it comes to average television appearances. So, and that's what matters with these contracts. I mean, they're not going to go scoop Vanderbilt from the SEC. They're going to go get the teams, the best of the rest. And I'm sorry, I mean, no offense to UCF, but UCF doesn't command the same presence on TV that we do, even if they have the quote-unquote Orlando market. You'll get that by having a FSU and or a Miami in there if you want to have that. So, I won't root for them. But the thing is, this new day and age, rivalries are obsolete. The rivalries became obsolete when coaches kept leaving rivals to go to coach somewhere else. I mean, you got Tim Brewster as of recent, who's coached at Florida State and Florida. The only place he didn't go was Miami, I believe. You've got Randy Shannon on our roster, who literally has the only piece of apparel he doesn't have is FAU and USF. There is no honor. There is no loyalty when it comes to that. It's just a bunch of us who in 20 years will all be dead or old, and nobody will really care about it. The only thing we'll care about is the check and these old stories. The new rivalries will be who you're playing, who the people who are good. So I mean, that's just kind of where it comes down to. So if Miami's stuck in the ACC, God bless. I would love nothing more than to be able to pick on them for being so rich that you can't buy yourself out. I don't really care for teams that have fake renderings and and for people who don't even understand how public works and projects work. Like, you can't just say I want to build a stadium and then the stadium poof appears. Like, you're dealing with bigger billionaires than a guy who's not even a real billionaire. He's a multimillionaire, but he's not. Braggadocio doesn't help. So at the end of the day, if Miami comes, it'll be dope. But if they don't, I don't care. I just want to get out of the ACC, and I would never root for a rival to win. And I'm with Logan. I hope they both lose.
Gosh, guys. Look, I get where you're both coming from. I understand it. I guess my position on it is this. Number one, I think the only way that our rivalry with Miami stays intact is if we both go to the Big Ten. Because if we go to the SEC, the natural rivalry with Florida will stick around because it becomes a conference game. It's no longer a contract game. Miami, we won't have a contract with. And if you're sitting there playing Georgia, Alabama, LSU, Florida, Auburn, you're not going to want to add a Miami to that. So I think that's why it has to. If we're going to play Miami every year, we have to go together to the Big Ten. Look, I don't want Miami to go 12-0. I'm not saying I'm going to root for Miami against Texas A&M. I'm not saying I'm not going to root for a sinkhole to swallow both teams whole at Kyle Field and take out both teams like Logan said. I'm not saying I would object to that at all. I'm just saying, guys, the better off that Miami does, the sexier we both are this season, the more attractive we are to the Big Ten. I get what Mark is saying. I understand where Mark is coming from about it doesn't matter at this point. It is. Both of us have sexy resumes to sell, but there has to be something there for the future.
I just believe that the value of the institution, the academics, the endowment, then let's go to the sports, the football brand, like James said, the media markets involved, how many people love to watch Florida State / Miami on TV. All that is not going to be diminished by one bad football season. The recruiting footprint, I think, actually is going to play a role in Miami and Florida State's favor for the Big Ten because they love to go to Florida. They're losing football players in the Midwest. They're in Florida. They're in Texas. They're in California. And the Big Ten has everything in the world going for it. They got tons of money. They got great football programs. They got great facilities. They got great academics, but they don't have enough football players. So they got to go to South to get football players. And once they make that connection and their teams are playing at Florida State and Miami and wherever else in the South on a regular basis, I think that's attractive to the Big Ten to say, we've got this footprint in all four corners of the country. And now we've got a recruiting footprint in Florida, and we can get more Florida football players to go to anywhere in the Big Ten, in addition to Ohio State, because that's pretty much where the only premier players from Florida go in the Big Ten.
Wow. Nice plug for your Buckeyes there.
It's the truth.